The next man to become the head honcho of the Gambino crime family was Paul Castellano. He was the boss from 1976 to 1985. Before Carlo Gambino died, against expectations, he had appointed Castellano to succeed him over his underboss O'Neill Dellacroce. Gambino appeared to believe that his crime family would benefit from Castellano's focus on white-collar businesses. Dellacroce at the time was in prison for tax evasion and was unable to contest Castellano's succession. Castellano identified more as a businessman than a hoodlum. He took over non-legitimate businesses and converted them to legitimate enterprises. But Castellano's businesses and those of his sons thrived from their mob ties. In his early years, Castellano used his butcher's training to launch Dial Poultry, a poultry distribute business that once supplied 300 butchers in New York City. Castellano used intimidation tactics to force the customers to buy his products. As Castellano became more powerful in the Gambino crime family, he started to make large amounts of money from concrete construction. Castellano's son Philip was the president of Scara Mix Concrete Corporation, which exercised a near monopoly on Staten Island on construction concrete. Castellano also handled the Gambino interests in the Concrete Club, a club of contractors selected by the commission to handle the contracts between $2 million to $15 million. In return, the contractors gave a 2% kickback of the contract value to the commission. Castellano also supervised Gambino control of the Teamsters Union in Local Chapter 282, which provided workers to pour concrete at all major building projects in New York and Long Island. Although Castellano was more on the polished end of the mafia, when he felt disrespected, he made sure to get his point across. In 1975, Castellano allegedly had Vito Borelli, the boyfriend of his daughter Constance, murdered because he had heard Vito had compared him to Frank Perdue, the owner and commercial spokesman for Perdue Farms. In 2004, court documents revealed that Joseph Massino, a government witness and former Bonanno crime family boss, admitting murdering Vito as a favor for Paul Castellano.
Paul Castellano trying to get involved and legitimize corporations, so to speak. I thought that was a smart move and a good thing. John Gotti didn't think so.
Moving forward to the downfall of Paul Castellano. John Gotti and other members of the crime family didn't respect Paul. Paul saw himself as a businessman who distanced himself from the guys who were the bread and butter of his business, such as the capos, the soldiers, and the associates. Instead, Paul would only meet with the top brass of his crew, and he would meet with them in his 17-room Staten Island mansion nicknamed the White House. Not only did he repeatedly insult his men, Paul was out of touch. Capos routinely delivered envelopes stuffed with cash to his doorstep without ever being invited in.
They wanted to get a hidden microphone in Castellano's house because they know from that there's dirty talk going on inside of Castellano's house. They're going on the inside. That's part of the probable cause to get your affidavit in front of a judge to then sign it and get the warrant for the wiretap. So they know there's dirty talk going on in the inside because another bug where Ruggiero was talking about it. And so then they get that, and then they end up taking him down. Some talk came out about this stolen auto scheme that Roy DeMeo had going on, and they were stealing cars and shipping them overseas. And he was making money off that, so there's talk about that. And the commission case, getting into Paul's house, and that helped set up some of the other hidden microphones for the commission case and took down all the rest of the 5 families with a few storytellers and those hidden microphones. And that was a classic RICO case to take down the bosses without having a boss actually do anything other than talk.
Another decision Castellano made was banning drug dealing. This made John Gotti even more angry with Paul, since he was dealing heroin on the side. At the time, underboss O'Neill Dellacroce kept Gotti in line, but that didn't last too long after Dellacroce passed away. On Monday, December 16, 1985, underboss Thomas Bellotti drove Paul Castellano to an arranged meeting at the Spark Steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan. A hit team consisting of Salvatore Scala, Edward Lino, and John Carneglia. They waited near the restaurant's entrance. Positioned down the street, though, were backup shooters Dominic Pizzoni, Angelo Ruggiero, and Tony Rampino. Gotti observed the scene from across the street. Paul and his underboss pull up to the front of the restaurant and exit the car around 5:26 p.m. The gunmen run up and shoot them several times. Allegedly, John Carniglia was the gunman who shot Castellano in the head. Before leaving the murder scene, John Gotti drove over to view the bodies to make sure they were lifeless. Just 2 weeks after Castellano's murder, a meeting of capos in a Manhattan basement elected John Gotti, age 45, as the new Gambino crime family boss. Hey, thanks for watching this clip. This clip came from my documentary series about the rise and fall of the American Mafia. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to watch each episode as they come out.